Hello everyone, welcome back to SAM IELTS YouTube channel. This channel is actually dedicated to the IELTS aspirants. IELTS is the international English exam and those who want to go to abroad either for work or study can actually subscribe to this channel since this channel consists a lot of information regarding the IELTS. Also, the people who really want to climb up the career ladder, they can also subscribe to this channel because this channel consists a lot of information regarding the English. So if you really want to speak English like a native speaker, of course I would suggest you to subscribe to this channel and consume a lot of channel regarding English. Alright, without further delay, today let's deep dive into the IELTS speaking part 2. Alright, most of the students ask me this question. Ma'am, how can I clear the speaking part 2 if I really don't know anything about that? Suppose this happens, sometimes you get some bizarre topics which you were not aware of. Sometimes you will get some unwanted topics which you are not expertise of. Then how to extend your answer for 2 minutes? Because if it is for the part 1 or for the part 3, you can easily manage because that answer is crisp and short. Because in the speaking part 1 you are just going to answer 2 to 3 lines and in the speaking part 3 you are going to answer for 4 to 5 lines. That would not be a huge matter of discussion. However, it comes anything in the speaking part 2, then it is a huge matter of discussion. Because you don't know anything about the topic and you are going to expand it for the 2 minutes. So how to handle this? As a British Council certified IELTS tutor, I am going to give you few tips that you can actually use to clear this IELTS speaking cue card round. Alright, without further delay, let's deep dive into the topic. First of all, you need to admit to the examiner that you are not an expert in this topic. You can easily say that I am by no means an expert in this topic. That's absolutely acceptable by the IELTS examiner. Remember, IELTS is the international English language test. So it is all about the English, how you explain yourself, how you present your answers, how you use your grammatical range and accuracy, how to use your lexical resource. That matters. It is not a concept exam. Suppose if you really don't know anything about the astronomy and the question deal about the astronomy, that's absolutely acceptable if you speak anything related to the sky and the stars. That is acceptable. So if you are able to produce something logically correct which is close to the answer or close to the question, that's absolutely acceptable by the examiner. So remember this is not a concept based exam. So never worry about the concepts, instead worry about how to explain the answer, how to use the complex sentence in the frame or in the answers in the 2 minutes. Clear? Alright, so how to start your answer? Well, you can start your answer by a plenty of ways. However, I am going to say that I have to admit that I am by no means an expert in this topic. Clear? Did you got it? Yes, these are all the phrasal verbs that you can actually use to kickstart your answer so that the examiner really understand in the initial stage itself you are unaware of the answer, so you are going to tell something closely to the answer. Clear? That is point number 1. Okay, in the point number 2, what you are going to do? In the point number 2, you can actually say to the examiner that I am by no means an expert. Instead, you can use the word even though. Even though I am unaware about this topic, however, I am going to try something about it. Even though, which is a complex word, even though, although, if you really use some proper grammar structures in the IELTS cue card round, then of course for sure it will fetch you a lot of marks. So these are all the ways that you can actually tell to the examiner. So you can actually talk to the phrasal verbs before the answer starts. That is tip number 1. Okay, what is the tip number 2? Read all the 4 bullet points. For example, the examiner is asking you the question, describe a person who loves gardening. And for example, you really know nothing about gardening. Don't worry, there are 2 parts of the question. Describe a person who knows about the gardening. So the thing is that describe about a person, so you can actually talk about the person who is interested in gardening. So you can talk about the gardener. So if you want to talk about the person, of course I have shared another video what are the words that you can actually use to describe a person. Please go through that video, take the notes regarding how to explain the person. You can actually talk about the gender, you can talk about the characteristics, you can talk about the appearance, you can talk about anything about the person. So refer to that video, have the notes in hand, then you can actually try this answer. Clear? So tip number 2, read the question and the bullet points very carefully. Even if you know at least 2 bullet points, that is more than enough to explain your answer. See, if you give the introduction very clearly and if you explain 2 bullet points very clearly to the examiner, then that is more than enough for the examiner to assess your level of English. And please don't worry if your answer ended with 1 minute or 30 seconds. Tip number 3, avoid repetition. Instead of giving repetition, you can actually close your answer. So the examiner will actually accept your answer if you really close and very clearly give the point of view to the examiner. So the thing is that if you have the answer for 1 minute 30 seconds, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about the timing. Instead of repeating, you can actually close down your answer. So how to close down your answer? Tip number 4, you can actually use the closing phrasal verbs such as in the nutshell, overall, all in all. Remember, these are all the conversational closing phrasal verbs that you can actually use to close the answer. Instead of using therefore, hence, don't use these words because these are all the written communication and IELTS is a completely oral communication. So if you want to close down your answer, you can actually use in the nutshell, overall, all in all. These are all the phrasal verbs that you can actually use to close down your answer. Last but not least, this is the final tip that I am going to give you. The key point is that whatever you know related to the question, answer related to the question. If there are 2 parts in the question, try to answer the 1 point and prolong the answer to the next part. Suppose if you don't know nothing about it, say something which is closely related to that. So if you don't know anything about the plants, you don't have any experience with the plants. Since you live in the slab bank of the city, you don't have any exposure to the plants. Talk about the indoor plant. Talk about the herbs that you know. Talk about the mint. Talk about the coriander. That is also a plant. So don't worry. Don't think too much. Don't think that you should give a proper explanatory answer. Instead, keep it simple. Keep it simple. This is the rule number 5 that you have to apply. So use these 5 tips, and these 5 tips will act you like a pro that you can help expand your answer to 2 minutes. Don't worry, don't get stumbled upon the question. Instead, try to speak something which is related to the question very shortly and very crisply. Don't avoid repetition. Don't say the answers again and again to pull out your time, to pull over the time. No, it is not fair. So what you need to do, if you don't know really about the answer, you can actually close down the answer by using the phrasal verbs. So that's one of the key points that you need to understand. So if you have some bizarre topics or if you have something, unknown topics, you don't have any chance to swap the question paper. Instead, try to use a variety of grammar in your answer. Try to use some past tense, try to use some present perfect tense, also try to use some future tense. Even if you don't know something, well, you can actually close like this. Overall, though I don't have any exposure with the plants, for sure, I will take this as an experience and I will try to grow plants in my future. So, you are trying to explain the answer in the present tense as well as the future tense. And when you are telling a story, you can actually recount to your past. That will actually help you. So, usage of different types of grammar will actually enhance your marks. Remember, try to use variety of grammar. Also, try to use the lexical resource, even though it is not related to the vegetation or the plants, that you can actually use something which is related to explain a person, appearance. So many things you can actually explain. So try to say the answer very closely to the question. That would actually yield you 7+ band in the IELTS exam. So what are you waiting for? If you really need any help related to the IELTS exam, please visit www.samielts.in. We have a variety of experienced tutors so that you can actually learn the tips and the techniques from the tutors, and we will have one-on-one live classes. So if you want to book a free demo, please visit www.samielts.in or our team WhatsApp number 90431408844 to book a free demo. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video till the very end. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel.